You know what's fascinating about resilience in high-stakes situations? Rory McLlroy's decade-long journey to win the Masters might hold the secret to how investment analysts can better handle market volatility and career setbacks.
That's such an interesting parallel to draw. The psychological demands in both fields must be incredibly similar.
Well, think about it. In both cases, you're dealing with immense pressure, public scrutiny, and the constant battle between emotion and logic. McIlroy's 2011 collapse at the Masters, where he held a commanding lead only to completely unravel on Sunday, mirrors what many analysts experience during major market corrections.
And just like McIlroy didn't let that define his career, the best investors seem to have that same ability to bounce back from setbacks.
Exactly right. Take Seth Klarman, for example. During the 2010s, when value investing was considered dead by many, he stuck to his principles even as growth stocks were soaring. You know what's fascinating? His fund's performance actually improved dramatically once the market shifted back to fundamentals.
So what do you think is the key difference between those who bounce back and those who don't?
Well, from what I've observed, it comes down to three critical factors. First, there's the ability to maintain focus amid chaos. Just like McIlroy blocking out the roars of the crowd, successful analysts need to filter through market noise. Second, there's the willingness to adapt without abandoning core principles. And third, and this is crucial, there's the discipline to maintain rigorous routines even when things aren't going well.
That reminds me of how the Sequoia fund approaches their investment process. They're almost obsessive about their weekly reviews and thesis tracking.
Oh man, the Sequoia fund is exactly the kind of example I'm talking about. Their process is like a professional athlete's training regimen, methodical, consistent, and focused on long-term excellence rather than short-term wins. You know, I heard they spend an average of 500 hours analyzing a company before making any major investment decision.
Speaking of analysis, how do you think this applies to the way firms handle major market events?
Well, let me tell you about something fascinating I observed during the COVID crash. The firms that performed best weren't necessarily the ones with the most sophisticated models. They were the ones with strong psychological frameworks in place. Some firms have actually started implementing mental training techniques borrowed from professional sports.
That's really interesting. Like what kind of techniques?
So one major firm I know actually runs what they call pressure testing sessions. Before major market events, they have their analysts go through scenario visualization exercises, similar to how athletes mentally rehearse their performance. They've found it reduces emotional decision-making by about 40% during high-stress periods.
Though I imagine there are limits to how far we can push this sports analogy.
You're absolutely right about that. Look, when a golfer makes a bad shot, they're only affecting their own score. But when an analyst makes a poor call, they're dealing with other people's retirement savings, college funds, real money that impacts real lives. The stakes are fundamentally different.
And not every market setback can be overcome with just mental fortitude.
That's precisely why I think the most valuable lesson from McIlroy isn't about winning. It's about how to handle inevitable failures. You know, studies show that even the top analysts are only right about 55% of the time. The difference between good and great isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about how you respond to them.
Well, that certainly puts things in perspective.
And here's what I think is really crucial for our industry going forward. We need to start treating psychological resilience as a core skill, not just a nice to have. The data shows that firms with structured resilience training programs outperform their peers by an average of 23% during market downturns.
So what's the key takeaway for analysts trying to build this kind of resilience?
Well, just like McIlroy's decade-long journey to that green jacket, it's about playing the long game. Markets will humble us, models will fail, but if we can maintain that combination of adaptability and core principles while building strong psychological frameworks, we can keep improving through every setback. You know, research shows that analysts who maintain structured learning processes after failures tend to see their accuracy rates improve by about 15% over time.
That really brings it all together. Excellence isn't about avoiding failure, it's about how you respond to it.
Exactly. Whether you're standing on the first tee at Augusta or analyzing a complex market situation, success comes down to maintaining focus, adapting intelligently, and having the discipline to stick to your process, even when everything around you is chaos. That's what separates the truly great from the merely good. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to take a moment to talk about something close to my heart, making elite investment thinking accessible. That's why I created Insight One. It fuses my Wall Street experience with cutting-edge ed tech to bring clarity to complex financial concepts. Whether you're an aspiring analyst or a seasoned pro, Insight One adapts to your learning style, offering actionable insights used by institutional investors. Available now on the App Store, Google Play, and at theinvestmentanalyst.com. Start your journey today.